The work at the end of the year was hectic and it became a very complicated New Year's Day. And above all, I have to say that it is a height of regret that I have to introduce the horror story that became the worst and worst event that should be regretted this time. As a self-proclaimed ghost storyteller, it has become an unstoppable life lesson. But this scary story has also become a skipping story. Even so, suddenly the abnormalities of the global environment have pushed us into a spirit of more than fear. In addition to heavy rains and high temperatures, successive droughts, and huge hurricanes are covering the entire earth. In Japan, even in Japan, spring, summer, autumn, and winter are rare, and it seems that the polarization of the weather is progressing, skipping spring and autumn. Recently, I have taken an arbitrary interpretation that the reason why I feel more mentally and physically beaten than usual is because the abnormality in these places has increased and put extra pressure on my mind and body. The entrance to this horror experience that came to me, who had just returned to my hometown in the Kanto region from the work relationship of the horror story in the Tohoku region that I introduced at the end of last year, was a phone call from an unexpected friend. It was from my friend Kay, who I rarely contacted. Koji, my love, how are you? Also, you are writing all sorts of boring articles. Go outside once in a while. It's noisy. It's a big bet. What does it look like? Your face suddenly came to mind. It disappeared immediately. I felt lonely. What is it? It doesn't look like it. Of course it's money. Girls don't have a relationship either, of course. Ha 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 ha. It's still the same. I was relieved in a way that the comment was like you. How about work? Are you busy? Oh, that's right. But will you take a short consultation? I didn't expect that the story I started talking about would have such a result. It was shocking. The story of Yomoyama, wrote by my friend Kay, was a scary story about Max. a forbidden experience zone full of unexpected causes. It's hard to say it too directly, but there is a shortage of manpower in this era. People are the resources. The way you say something stuck in your back teeth is not like you. What is it? What are the requirements? Ha 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 ha. Start a small company. What is it? Isn't it amazing? What is it? What kind of job is it? Is it the vice president for me? It's a dispatch business, but this industry has a lot of comings and goings. In the first place, not many people gather dispatch. It is true that people may be a resources occupation, but if you get on track, you will be able to do it. Stupid to say, it's not such a sweet industry. It's a special category, especially difficult for people to gather. What is it? Is it a professional dispatch? What does it feel like? Funeral homes are mainly occupied by hospitals. Hmm, it looks interesting. So what do you want me to do? No, the funeral home staff is not enough lately, and I don't even want to recruit them. Hey, if you think it's a personal arrangement, can you help me? Well, it's not missing, but I've just returned from a trip, so I'm a little tired. I want you to dispose of the ashes. What is it? What? Ashes? Ashes like that bone and scraps? Oh, well, that's the place. What do you think? Why don't you try it? This friend Kate was a guy who had been so free that he could hardly count him a friend and almost forgot his experiences. Probably 10 years have passed, and it is becoming difficult to fully recognize each other's ex- existence. It is normal for this kind of acquaintance not to try to get involved unless there is some change of heart of our aim. And he also communicated with a reasonable intention at first, with caution at first. So what? Where should I do it? Oh, the place is close. It's about 30 minutes from here. From there, it's a neighboring town. There's a funeral home. So please go there. And there's an entrance on the left. So say hello to the staff there. If you get there, there will be an explanation Maybe you understand. Oi, oi, chut, won't you come? And then there are a lot of conditions. Kay had a bad personality or was trying to test me. So he slowly cut off the phone and solved the communication story. Maybe it's just because I started the company, but I originally felt that he was restless man like an elusive fox, so my anxiety is at its peak. It was already sunset that day, so I searched for the address on my cell phone at 9 a.m. the next morning and went to the place. The cemetery in M Town is designed to make full use of the characteristics of being in the countryside, creating a quiet environment with abundant trees on a vast site. I drove for about 30 minutes on the large national highway leading from where I lived, and there was the cemetery that I was looking for this time. At the entrance, there were huge totem pole-like monuments on both sides, quietly welcoming me. After entering the entrance and running for a while, I climbed up the S-shaped slope and arrived at the location of a solemn funeral home built on a small mountain. The building is a dull purple color and the decoration is not clear whether it is black or not, even if you think that everyone will eventually use it as a public building. You cannot build a shiny building. The building just stood quietly like a black hole that absorbed the dark side of the surrounding area. That day, the sky had been cloudy since the morning, and even though it was around 9 a.m., the sun was creating a gloomy air that did not show its face. As my friend K. Memory mentioned, there is a space for more than 50 cars on the big hill, and there is also a rotary plant in the middle. The building was on the right, and only the lonely parking spaces on the right and left that no one stopped seemed to create a lifeless atmosphere. I parked my car right in front of what seemed to be the front entrance, and I took a detour to the right and went inside. When I stepped into the back of the building, which is the side of the building, I felt an unbelievable creeping. enveloping my whole body. The dark and gloomy location was composed so that you could ride a circle in the darkness of a parking lot. As I timidly entered the road with small cobblestone on the result and seeing wheat-covered lawn, a huge tower appeared that connected the building to the ground. It seemed to me that it was probably a place where the body should be stored in some way, even to the untrained eye. But I couldn't say anything definitively. The place where the cobblestone continued is connected to the office like a checkbox, and it seems to be a staff-related entrance. Kong kong, kong kong. The office, which is made of concrete with dull white plastic, seems to have killed the presence of people inside. I couldn't find an intercom that looked like an external doorbell, so I had no choice but to knock on the door from the outside. That looked like a wooden member painted with white paint, which is rare these days. There was an in- indescribable loneliness in my heart that I couldn't feel any reaction from the outside. When I stand in front of a building full of negative energy that is too unresponsive, I feel a sense of guilt that I can say. I feel like I have stepped into a place where I shouldn't have been. Gasha, ga 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 ga. Hmm. Which one? Yes, I hear that there is a shortage of manpower. So is there a person named K? Mm-hmm. Hmm. K? Oh, it's Mr. K. Well, you? I'm sorry about this. My name is Koji. I've been doing something like reading something that I don't know, and an old friend with K. Huh? Ha ha ha. I'm writing. I see. So when I say help, what did you hear? I haven't heard any particularly detailed stories. I see. No, no, it may not be enough to help, but it is just that there is a shortage of people to manage it temporarily, not a shortage of manpower in general. Huh? Do you have any ways? Ha ha ha. I wonder if you have some kind of face that can support your heart. Ha ha ha. Especially, I think I have a general sense of God of and Buddha. I see, I think I can get it anyway, but it's okay. The man called himself T, who is the deputy head of the office. He is unusual thin and has only black eyes that glow like spider eyes, reminiscent of the power of malnutrition. I can feel the subtitle subtleties of my heart from this man at all. The reason why we don't feel human when in the first place may be because we deliberately exclude the emotionally harsh part that sees the end of human beings. If we touch too much of this, that is too sad. Will we not admit it? Or will we reach the mentality of passing it as a complete daily life without making any mistakes? I thought that something was missing from this man, but tears. There was an animal in front of me that had lost the centimeter part of the emotion related to tears. At that time, I didn't really understand why. This place is so called mortuary, but of course there are no bones here now, but there are a total of 5 cremation furnaces, but there is an ossuary on the back, and the job is to collect the incinerated bones from there. Also, due to the timing of the collection of the remains, this is an average, but you will be asked to wait 24 hours a day. This is not a continuous waiting for 20 hours. The flow is to hand over the remains as soon as the mourner the site is ready. A little, a little. I don't know what is it, but I don't know if I can do it yet, and I don't know if I can do it. I don't think it's a bad deal, and I think it's a job that can be earned if the conditions are right. I interrupted from the back door and greeted him for an interview, but it seemed that the conversation was progressing on the premise that he had already started working. The place I entered through the back entrance seemed to be specialized place mainly used by the staff of the grill, and I was honestly confused that I was hired immediately after meeting them. There is a corridor leading to the front lobby on the other side of the entrance, which is divided into four sides and it's like a connecting passage in various places. The left side was connected to the main entrance used by the people at the table, including the attendees. At the back of the face where small incinerators were lined up like prison rooms directly from the interrogation room was a processing room where the ashes of the heavenly summoned were packed in various places. There is a space at the back of the incinerator about a tatami mat where the old stand stretcher can be moved back and forth. Perhaps it will be an arrangement to collect the bond from the furnace and go around. I felt creepy in the opposite sense that the facility was kept clean to the point where I felt that it was far from the grotesque nature of what I was doing. When I turned to my right, I saw a chimney building about 10 meters high that I had seen from the outside area. What is inside the door with red and rusty paint? The back of the ladder-shaped glass above the doorknob is shrouded in pitch darkness and you can't peek inside. Then, thank you. Immediately, I'll make arrangement from tonight. And then the condition is 50,000 yen for working on Wednesday once a week. I'm sorry, but please do the withholding tax yourself. I was surprised to hear the condition that Deputy Chief T mentioned at the end. What is 50,000 yen? I wondered if there was a job that could make a lot of money as much as 50,000 yen in just 1 week. Moreover, I was even impressed that there was a company that could pay tens of thousands of yen for just 1 day of work in a week, and that Japan companies had not abandoned it. I feel a little uncomfortable with the hastily organized schedule before I can immerse myself in the afterglow of such emotion. Even though the interview was arranged by someone I knew, is there a danger of our hiring on the same day? Is it a workplace where you can work with such a right feeling? Despite such worries, Wednesday, which is the corresponding day, is approaching tomorrow. What is the cause and effect? Is it a bad relationship? There are no multiple answers to the given option due to the flow of the story and the pressure from the deputy chief D. It seemed that he had no choice but to enter an inexperienced part-time job from tomorrow night. With the business manual that was about half of the town page given to me when I said goodbye to tea, I immediately went home and started preparing for the next day. Even though it was a business manual, the items in the part-time job regulations related to the bone collection work were not that complicated, and there were only the methods for handling the remain and the restraint time during the work. Tuesday midnight, that is from midnight on the Tuesday to midnight on Wednesday, is the time for complete restraint. During that time, I will be working 24 hours a day, but a total of 8 hours of rest time was a good rule for my rubber. It is calculated that you can sleep for 5 hours, excluding meal time. There is nothing easier than taking a nap for 3 hours during the night when you are extremely sleepy even during the daytime. If you think of it as an easy part-time job with 3 meals and a nap, I thought that the ashes of the dead were insignificant. At this time, I was thinking so lightly. 50,000 yen in a week. Moreover, where and how can we ignore the abnormality of being guaranteed that occurs in just one day of week? It is my habit of writing. Or is it the end of the end where my interest wins? I can help myself as I try to enter a dangerous mystery world without a calm analysis. The next day, at 11:30, I headed to the site. The lifestyle of arriving early and getting ready is the same in every mission, even though it's a one-time part-time job. You have to warm up your feelings and mindset. I entered yesterday's check-in with the key to enter the room that was given to me in advance. It was obvious, but the time of midnight in the middle of winter makes me feel cold both physically and mentally. Since it was already like that, I regretted hearing this story when I imagined that I there were corpses lying around. When I turned on the light it in the pitch black room and checked inside, I saw four small desks arranged in a beautiful square shape. I wonder if it is used by a daytime clock. I felt that the raw use of humans was still there. According to the manual, the work in the management booth was supposed to be done behind the insulator that I have been explained about recently. In the management booth, the usual 24-hour endurance race began. The entrance to the booth is only about 150 centimeters high, making it quite cramped for an adult man to enter. It seemed like a complete design mistake, but I don't think the person in charge of this industry has given enough consideration to spend the budget just to rebuild the back. I wonder if there is any point in being made so compactly, except for the gallery he received. It seemed that he had a policy of slowly cutting the budget. The interior was painted with cream paint, and the LED fluorescent lights were relatively brightly decorated. There is a lattice window right next to the entrance that can barely fit a person's face. I asked about the outside from this window, but I wonder if it is really possible to monitor the outside from such a small window. However, the time I spend is late at night, and there is no way anyone else can come in and out. Security guards patrolling in the middle of the night are also incorporated into their work, so it seems like a peephole that they rarely use. I went inside through the cramped entrance and took a breather while checking the contents of the late night snack I had procured. at the convenience store was a luxury, even though I was a part-time job that could be called a part-time job. I was paid 30,500 yen for a day's meals, even if you divide it into the three parts. It will be 1,200 yen per serving. If you cut your own money a little more and add it, you can ask for an eel bento. Everything is going too well. It's just a part-time job, but I wonder if it's okay to have such a delicious experience. It was an undeniable fact that it was an extremely terrifying place where people would end up in the end. But the treatment was too good. If it was such a part-time job that I couldn't complain about, people would have gathered with each other. There may be a real dark battle in the world that is too delicious just for a certain image. Time flew by. In the break booth, an old light brown wall clock pointed 5 minutes before the scheduled time. It was good to say that the fact that time felt was a sign that I was in a good mood. At this point, 24 hours must pass in the blink of an eye. Whoa, 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 whoa. I feel like something crossed my line of sight. The place where I am sitting is on the left side of the narrow entrance I mentioned earlier, and there is a compact silver desk right next to it, and there is a peephole almost in front of me sitting. What crossed my field of vision for a moment was the silhouette of an old man waiting, wearing work clothes, but I couldn't say for sure. There could be no old people, and there could be no moving object in the first place. The excitement of the beginning of work may have been mixed, and my brain may have projected a selfish fantasy. I said it was a smooth start, but it doesn't mean that there are no worries before and after. The feeling of sitting inside the booth is so great that I have a bit of headache. There is a very small exhaust fan filter installed above the desk, but I don't know if it is working. I could faintly hear a faint sound that didn't make a snowballing sound, but I stopped tracing the sound because it made me feel even worse. It's such an unexplored job. I should have avoided routine that would damage my condition as much as possible. Still, the place I've been curious about since area is on the left. It's a chimney building. Of course, this is the first time I have been involved in this industry. The work of burning the body should have been handled using the insulator on the right. Normally, an individual in the tens of kilograms class like a human would not require that much energy, and it would not require a huge chimney-like facility like the one of the left. What is this chimney burning? No, I wonder if it's a place where nothing is burning in the first place. The silence seems to be emitting an eerie message, message from the small window in the back, and I feel a chill in my body. I tilted my face to the right and peeked softly at the left. The silence and darkness completely reject the viewer. I felt that it would be safer to completely ignore the existence on the left side. If you care about it, you will feel the fear that everything will end just by itself. I only had to worry about the designated body that could be seen over there. Extra flying would consume energy, and even considering the long future, the risk of doing it beyond the scope was enormous. I don't care. Yes, you just have to think so. After checking the equipment in the booth and going through a roll call, I returned to my desk. The time referred to 1:15. Almost no time had passed since the start of the mission. There is a big difference in the sense of time before entering the part-time job and when I started. I thought 3 hours had passed since I went inside, but less than half of that had passed. The horn of the rabbit and the air feel heavy. The fatigue of the whole body is covering my whole body, as if I have already run around there. I thought I'd go into a late night snack quite early. If I don't put something in my stomach, I may not be able to keep it until tomorrow morning. It was important to take the initiative in everything. It wasn't an air bento, but I checked the manual I received again while taking out the thick luxury pork cutlets bento from the convenience store bag. There didn't seem to be any specific designation for food, and it seemed like a good rule to freely replenish energy. It was when I rattled my lunchbox about half. I felt a terrible chill behind me. I sensed a strong presence that pulled my head back with my hair. For a moment, I thought this was absolutely dangerous. But I looked behind me as I shoved the pork cutlet into my mouth. Oh, mmm, wow, wow, wow. A pale, petite old man is sitting straight at me. Behind the booth was a pedestal space about half a tatami mat, which was used as a luggage storage area and a seating area. In the place, a small old man full of bones was sitting with a pale light. The clothes seemed to be costumes, but they glow blue, so it's not clear. He lifts his arms full of veins and bends as if holding them, and makes a gesture as if holding something. Her hair was almost transparent and gray, and she was so thin and brittle that it was immediately clear that there was no nutrient in the hair roots. The eyeballs are centered only on black, and I can't feel life. Still, only the corners of his mouth are loosely raised, and he looks like he is smiling at me, even though he was ruffling. There was no sound there, and only an eerie silence enveloped the surroundings. Ho 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 ho! Yeah, yay! Stop! What is it? Whoa! The old man smiled fiercely for a moment, but then he was silent. The fear on this side was at its peak, and I couldn't react afterwards. The old man dropped his shoulders, and in an instant it seemed that his whole body was weak, weakened. Whoa, whoa, ga ga ga, gorowa. Go up. The old man suddenly jumped at me. It showed that it had accumulated a lot of bright red blood in its mouth, and it attacked with great force. War! Let me eat! Let me eat! Whoa! Ooh! Yay! Stop! Please stop! Whoa! Ga ga ga! Go up! Go! When I woke up, I was sleeping with my arms on the pillow and on the desk. Did he faint after encountering nightmarish event? When I checked the wall clock, it was 3:30 in the middle of the night. Considering that I was hungry and started having a late night snack about 1:30 a.m., I had been asleep for nearly 2 hours. The gray-haired old man looked back, but he didn't see anyone there. I consumed an unplanned nap, so if I don't schedule it later, my work will be procrastinated. You have to go on patrol outside and collect the remains that have been burned in the furnace and cooled by the heat. In the morning, I was busy with those chores and time passed in a hurry. At the stage of collecting the remains of the parties in each furnace, some smell of death remained on the work clothes I was wearing, and I felt sorry for being treated so much except for the loneliness of walking alone. That I identified old man I met in the middle of the night, and if I don't pay attention to my surroundings to the point where I am insensitive, in a sense, if I ignore it, it may not be a part-time job that I can handle. That what I thought. I felt something heavy in my body that could not be said to be fatigue, but I analyzed that it was transmitted more than usual due to tension and anxiety. I had failed to take a nap because of that incident after I started my part-time job last night, but I had high hopes that if I could withstand the weight and fatigue of my body, the ex- exhilaration that would come after would be immeasurable. From now on, we will enter a bright period. In the future, speed and grit may be what matters. The work after that actually went smoothly. At 7 o'clock in the morning, a very young female staff member came to say hello, alone, and left cheerfully. I filled the document with the number of scheduled processing for today and returned to the lobby. But the woman was the only person who came to the back of the house. After that, we cleaned up the area around the facility and disposed of the remains, which were scheduled to be burned. Surprisingly, I feel a difference between the impression at night and the atmosphere during the day. If you have ever been to this kind of facility, you may understand it somehow, but it felt like I was in a different building at night and during the bright day. After that, nothing happened. In a sense, there were almost no occult phenomena or moments of fear that I had hoped for. In fact, until midnight on Wednesday, when this part-time job ends, I didn't encounter any horror experience other than that event. It seemed that it had ended safely. When I got ready to go home and return to the car, I took a breather. I am surprised and sorry that there is such a delicious part-time job. It was the moment I was about to press the entry button on the car engine. A surprising sight jumped into my eyes. Oh, wow! Last night, a little pale old man appeared behind me, sitting in the back seat. Whoa! 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 It was a funny story, but this was the first time I heard my unspeakable scream. This was the first moment when confusion and now see that were close to sobbing attacked me at the same time. The cry of the soul from the back of the throat became a silent noise and spread around me. At this time, the first action I took was to run away from the habit. I escaped from the car like a rabbit and ran down the hill from the parking lot to the bottom, feeling confused and catching my breath. I came out to the national highway, picked up the taxi, and returned home. Ooh, hoo, hoo, hoo. Oh, ouch. Kay, are you listening? It's about the part-time job you arranged. What? Well, it doesn't matter if it's night or morning. What are you angry about? Shake off a ridiculous job. If it's creepy, You can't do it. I thought you could do it somehow. It is it no good? You knew everything? Uh-huh. What did you know? This part-time job is dangerous. You knew everything. You know, you actually, it was so delicious. You idiot. Far from being delicious, you made a dangerous position. What are you going to do for me? It's a real job. Oh, yes. I was able to collect bonds properly. That's no problem. If such a dangerous old man comes out, then everyone will run away. Grandpa, who is the old man? Don't be confused. That's the person on the other side, right? Mm-hmm. The other side? Well, it's okay, and it's ended safely. In the end, I ran away after being hit by a hard look, bad luck. The car is still parked at the funeral home, but I want you to refrain from going there anymore. What is it? Okay, I go there with you. That's fine. I told my friend Kay, who was involved in this job, everything that happened. I didn't know if he really believed the strange and spine-chilling story he experienced, but he came to me in the middle of the night that day. He took me to the funeral home in my friend Kay's car and dropped me off in front of my car. Don't make a dark face. You can think that you have earned some pocket money by having a slightly unusual experience, and it would have become one of the topics. It seems like it's quite easy, but if you do it yourself, this is the gara. I also added a little transportation expenses. Mm-hmm. Mm. Even so, what is that heavy? Far from being heavy, that kind of experience is a bad experience because the people at this funeral home are so friendly. They actually responded that politely. Oh, well, that's the deputy chief. He is such a dangerous person. Deputy chief T. Who is it? What are you talking about? It's a guy with such big reptilian eyes. There is no such stuff. I think I mistook it for someone. Hmm, come here. I and my friend Kay went around to the back of the funeral home in the middle of the night, shining on each other's handy lights that were loaded in the car. There was nothing there. No, there was. But there was just dilapidated, dilapidated, abandoned house that went far beyond the lonely feeling I had witnessed during the interview. What is it? You shouldn't use it now. I mean, it's amazing, wasn't it the place I saw? Wasn't it here? You see, the address is definitely here. The map also points here. No, it's not here. Did you come in front here? Oh, that's right. You told me to come here. The M funeral home is from the front of the over there. What did you see? My friend Kate's serious gaze spoke of the seriousness of the matter. She had sad and sad eyes that seemed to care for her from the bottom of her heart. The anxiety in my heart that felt that gaze was higher than I had ever felt before. Because it's like this. You have to be prepared to be in a serious situation where you get involved in a ghost story. I was able to feel from my own experience that this kind of story should not be taken lightly. This is a rumor, but there is a story that the previous generation who created this funeral home was mainly dealing with uninsured prisoners in the Kanto region. Prisoner without a warrant? Well, what do you mean? Death now? Inmates of a life sentence? This funeral home was contracted as a foreign affairs places for prison, where they could not be buried without a taker. Then the place where the souls of the villains who committed the sentence are wandering without going. Idiots! Isn't this dangerous place? The two men who felt a chill more than the outside air timidly checked the inside of their car. The old man was not there, but for some reason I decided to stay in the car until morning. When the sun rose, I finally felt rested So I drove home. My friend Kay said that if this kind of project happened on the way home, I will ask for it again. I thought I would never be able to do it again. I have to be careful of suspicious friends. Phone calls in the future. It was an incident that made me feel strongly about that. End.